Check, 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 check. Sorry, guys. I had to blow into that really quick, but let's get real for a sec because I want to check this out. We're going to talk about how we rebuilt ourselves, right? How did I rebuild myself after 40, especially my strength? Now, in terms of strength, we could always talk about the weight that we lift, the endurance that we have, the amount of pressure we can add onto somebody, or in wrestling, how fast we can take someone down, right? Like, what's the strength? Throwing someone. For me, strength was, I had to rebuild every single aspect of strength from my body, from fighting injuries and pain, and especially emotionally, right? Emotional strength was the main thing I really had to focus on. Let me just make sure all the things on the chat, the live is real right now. Make sure everything is on stream. If you guys are new to the channel, say what's up. Let me know where you guys are from. You know, it's always nice to know where's that while you talk about the things that I've done, the things I let go of, and the things that I added into my life in order to be, I don't want to say the strongest version of myself, because everyone says, I want to be the strongest version of myself. Yeah, what's that even mean? You don't even know, because you don't even know your weaknesses. How can you be strong or the strongest version of yourself? You really don't even want to admit that you do have weaknesses, right? That you do have some flaws. So before you chap around about the version of you that you want to be stronger for, you got to be honest with yourself and look into the mirror and call out what is your weak at, right? What are your biggest weaknesses? Because then from there, you can actually now start to become the strongest version of yourself, or the strongest version of you. So with that said, I want to go into, obviously I'll have to, where is my stupid, I'm streaming from the garage, which is the first time in probably many streams that I've done. So apologize if I keep looking. I have to bring this camera over there. Let's get personal, blah, 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 where I started. All right, so where I started from was I had a gym in New Jersey, and it was Krank. It is a great, wonderful machine, right? It was working. It's doing what it is. It helped me in every aspect of my life, right? From career, from strength to emotional to financial. It was great, right? It was just, hey, here's your passion. Here's what you love to do. Well, now we have it. And then fast forward to obviously everyone else's pitfall in most people's lives and progress was COVID, and all that kind of just went away. Now, could I have fought? Could I have chosen to? Sure, I fought as long as I can, but what I did lose the most was my mental strength, right? My emotional strength. I didn't have it anymore. Right? I literally was put into the hospital because I just wanted to disappear. I'm saying that in a nice way, right? I wanted to disappear. So I ended up in the hospital, did all my work. And this work wasn't just like, hey, here's rehab, and then you're stuck in rehab for a little bit, and then you come out and you're blooming like a blossom and everything has changed. No, it just stopped you at the moment to kind of rewire you a little bit. So now how do you build back up again? Right? How do you build up to the strength that you used to be? And again, this was the easy stuff, right? This was super easy to build back strength, right? Getting back into your bench and into your, let me get this off me, and into your squat or your deadlift or your sandbag carry, your lift. That was easy. Right? That was easy to get back into. It was mentally is where it took a long time. It took a super long time to get back into it. It took a super long time to even understand what it is I was doing. Hold on, before I drop I'm gonna move this way, guys. If it shuts off, I don't want to keep facing away from you. All right, cool. You guys see that? Whoops, you don't want to see that. That's my computer stand. I did a lot of work inside there. But again, we don't want to talk too much on the emotional side and the mental side of it. Let's talk about the physical side and what I'm doing now, right? What am I doing now to rebuild my strength? And strength is in terms of lifting, right? And in terms of strength markers in the gym, right? Like what's my bench, what's my deadlift, what's my squat, or what's my clean, my snatch, things of that nature. How strong, how am I rebuilding that strength? Well, first off, I stopped chasing PRs, right? There's no more, I used to bench 315 for 15 reps. There's no more, I used to squat 325 for 15 reps. There's no more, or 425 for 15, there's no more of that, right? My max effort load is always 90%. So I'm always keeping in the tank, or what we call our sub max, right? I'm never searching for a 1 PR. I'm never looking for a 1 rep max in actual. I'm not going to a competition to try to compete to find my one RM. I'm not, right? I'm playing in a safe zone where I can build my strength safely, as well as not re-injure myself, where I end up taking a backload every single time, right? I always ended up getting hurt chasing a PR. Like I tweak my back, I tear my chest, I tear my Achilles from my squat because my calves are so tight, right? It's weird shit like that where it happens, but we get sucked into the algorithm, right? The Instagram, the I wish I can, the how come he can do this, how come she can do that phase of life, and our ego takes over, and what happens is I completely lose myself, right? So when you're chasing the PR, especially after 40, guess what's going to happen? You're going to chase more injuries than anything, and your chiropractor is probably going to love you, right? 100% they're going to love you because, or your physical therapist. Let's be honest, right? Because they want you to be there, no matter what type of insurance you have. It really necessarily doesn't matter. But when I stopped doing that and I stopped comparing myself to the people around me, and even more so like my old self, like I used to be able to do this, lifting became fun again, right? It became something that was fulfilling, or that is fulfilling again. So like today I have squats, right? We got a squat today. I'm using a version of the squat from Ageless Athlete where we use the clusters, and clusters are based off a percent. Again, I don't want to get too far into percentages and you get lost, but this is like my 12th, let me see where I'm at. It is my 1, 2, 3, 4, I can't see. I'm at week 10 now. So it's my 37th workout, right? Week 10, my 37th workout on this program. And it's been amazing. It's been great. I feel dense. I feel good. Sure, I feel sore, maybe some tightness here and there, but nothing crazy to where I was chasing the 1 RM all the time or chasing the harder sets and reps all the time. So it's perfectly programmed with the perfect percentages for me, and everything's auto-regulated, right? And I believe that's the next thing I was going to talk about. Was what I focus on is I focus on the basics, and I focus on auto-regulating, right? With that meaning, if I'm having a bad day, or I don't feel good, or I feel I have we got a lot of work to do, and we got to be in the studio for a long time, or we're going to do things like that, then I just do something, right? I'm not going to hit the 80% it says, right? If it's supposed to be like 1 reps or 1 rep max, not really 1 rep max, but we do a 1-1-1, that's like at a 80 to 90%. I'm just going to do it at 60, 70% for that day, because I'm not really going into competition or anything like that. I'm just going in to do things. So auto-regulation is huge. If you can't feel, here's a perfect test that I use for clients is, especially when they're ready to compete or they have a very high stressful job. I want to know what their readiness is. Now, of course, there's these wearables that everyone has, and it does track, especially the Whoop. I forget what it's called, the Whoop app, things like that, and it'll tell you your actual readiness if you check. I think Apple has one too, or Fitbit. But for me, I didn't have that stuff, and I'm not, I'm a tech guy, but not really that much of a techie guy. I don't like wearing shit. It's called a squeeze test, right? So if your hand is here, if you can see that, squeeze it as hard as you can for 5 seconds, or if it's your client, and then you open it and see how it turned white, but then it turned red again. That means we're good to go, right? That means there's blood flow. Right now, if I squeezed it and then it stayed white and it took a long, like it's still white, and it took a long time, well, then I would tell my client, or that would be more, I wouldn't tell them, I'd just say, we're going to go light today. We're going to practice work on this instead, because they're not ready, right? That means their blood is not flowing. They don't have proper blood flow. I learned this a long time ago. I do not know where from. I kind of want to say Paul Chek or Smitty. It's one or the other. Okay, don't remember where I learned it, but it's a very great way to test your clients out to see if they're ready for today. Especially if you do someone that works with strength and you work percentages. Maybe you use a 5-3-1. Maybe you use a 5x5. I'm not sure the method that you use, but knowing if your body's actually ready to lift is super important, right? You ever just like warm up sometimes and you can't warm up? Like you maybe had a rough 2 days at work and you didn't sleep for 3. And now you're going to go in and try to deadlift max effort, 1s and 2s. Maybe not a good idea. Not only are you tapping into so much hormones just to maybe get that one lift, but you're probably most likely going to get hurt. So that's the one thing I definitely focus on was autoregulation, the mobility and stretching before and after. It's something that I used to sleep on all the time. And everyone says it, hey, hit your mobility work and make sure you stretch after. But who really does it? Who really does it? Do you? Comment. Let me know if you guys do, because I'm not sure if you do. Because I know I do, but I'm not sure if you do. And yeah, I get lazy on it too, right? We all get lazy. And that becomes not that important to do so because we just want to get our lifts in, and that's fine. But for a majority of the time, let's keep it at like 80%. If you get 80% of your work done, then I think we're good, So let's talk about my current routines. I have some Cliff Notes here. I say Cliff Notes if you guys remember Cliff Notes. If not, go fuck yourself. How's that sound? That means you're young. Cliff Notes were things that, because I can't read books well, and whenever we had a test or had to read like The Great Gatsby, I watched the movie, but I've never read the book, so I'd get Cliff Notes to try to use those to pass the test. So it was like a summary. Now you guys have something called the internet, and that's great. Just, So my current strength routine to build back up. Hear that? There are kids yelling. In now is I lift, I'd say strength-wise, 3 to 4 days per week. Right now it's at 4. I've been pretty consistent at 4. I walk almost every day trying to get over 10K. I'm really shooting for 12K. I'm actually at 12K and plus for sure, but almost every day. Now, as it gets hotter, it's harder to do so, but I still get the steps in no matter what. I have different methods by walking up and down the stairs inside the house, walk around my kitchen like a fucking maniac, whatever it is. I do get my steps in. I do my long form cardio days, which is either a light jog, a bike ride, something long form swim. Nothing intense, trying to keep that zone 2, and as well as my interval work. So something I would call unconventional cardio, you can say, where I use carries, all types of different carries, whether it's a sandbag, a kettlebell, a book bag, a ruck, and then I intermingle it with running. So like light jogging, but it's a very long form, trying to hit like, 30 to 40 minutes, keeping it at a decent intensity, not a super high intensity. I think my high intensity enough is at when you do jiu-jitsu or wrestling, you spike so high that I don't even need to do it because I'm not really competing. I'm just doing it for fun. So I think that protocol would change if I was going to compete, right? Where you want the cardio, you want to get your gas tank up. But for the most part, that's really it. Like, it's pretty simple, very strength-based hypertrophy work with core, stretching always, mobility work always, and then auto-regulating, like understanding how my body feels and making sure that I listen to it. You ever fucking being under a bench and you say, don't be a pussy? You ever fucking do that? You ever just like, stop being a pussy, just lift it. You ever do that? Yeah, I'm sure you did. Because you could when you were younger, right? Now, if I'm benching and it feels good, once I start to feel like a tweak in my form, like maybe I feel my shoulder rise up more and I'm using a little bit more neck than needed, or I don't feel me using my back when I'm benching, right? Or when I'm squatting, I feel myself like leaning over too much because I'm just off. out. I'm done, right? And it's hard to do, right? It's hard to stop yourself from destruction because what's the difference, right? What's the difference between working hard, being a P, or actually being effective? So if you ever felt like you lost your edge, like, I want you to know that it's not too late. Or just because you think like you lost your edge because maybe you haven't done it in a long time, or, well, let's talk about that really quick. If you haven't done it in a long time, then don't go into what you used to do, right? Go into a 4-week buildup phase where we would call a general prep, right? And if you had a trainer, or at least you have a good trainer, they would put you through a general prep phase, whether you were a good athlete, an old athlete, or even someone just came off the desk, you are all the same, right? Your body does have to go through this preparedness phase to where a lot of the movements are just like squat, bench, squat, push, pull, carry, hinge, and you just work and see where you're at. And it should feel like good. It shouldn't feel hard. It might be a little hard. You'll get a little sore, but you shouldn't be like crushed to where you can't walk the next day. I really hate when people fucking go to the gym and then they do legs and they're proud of the fact that they can't walk anymore. It doesn't make sense, right? For someone that's professional, the goal is to lift for longevity. Like, you're supposed to lift for a long time. You're supposed to work out for a long time. But if you get crushed in one day and now you take off for 4 days, well, what the fuck was the purpose of even lifting? You know, and I get it. We all done it. I've done it. I'm not gonna say I haven't done it. I used to love it. I've done it. But guys, there's so much more information out now than 1985 or 1995, where there wasn't even a fucking internet, right? You should know better. Research something, Google something, ask someone. You have so much information to do so. You should know better than to approach your workouts that way. Okay? Don't say it's like me, yelling at. No, it's the information is out there. Utilize it. Right? That's why you're here anyway, right? That's why you're here. It's just to learn. I'm sorry for getting mad. I apologize. I apologize for getting mad. I don't really apologize for that, actually. But I'm trying to see the last note that I had. Oh yeah, if you guys want, we have our challenge coming up, right? It's the Krank Comeback. So the Krank Comeback Challenge. Why? Because fucking Krank is coming back, and it's the Krank Comeback Challenge. It is 8 weeks. You get access to our programming. You get access to the app. Not only that, the winner of the best transformation. I'm not talking physical transformation, right? I'm not talking about transformations where like, hey, watch me lose 20 pounds. And then I gain it back in 2 weeks. No, look at my before and after pictures. And after I take the picture, I fucking go fuck myself. And I don't care myself. And no, I don't want that. Right? I want full transformation. I want to see what you do, why you do it. And I want to see the progress of you. Right? We talked about the best version of ourselves before and made fun of it, but I want to see you become that. Right? I want to see you change into that. And the person that shows the best effort, the best results, and the best methods wins $1,000. $1,000 cash. I'm going to give it right to you. All right? If you want more information, comment the word Krank. Right down below, just comment, and I'll give you all the information you need. If you don't want it and you don't want to be part of it, then it's cool too. Come back to the other channels, make sure you subscribe. But for the most part, the Krank Challenge is going to help monitor you based off where you're at. I'm not going to give you some staple program to where everyone's going to do the same thing. No, I'm going to talk to you individually and see where you're at. We'll give you the program that fits best for where you are. And then from there, we want to see you change. But the workout has nothing to do with half the things that happen inside this challenge. Right? It's the consistency. It's the showing up. It's someone yelling at you and making sure that you show up. Right? But you got to have some skin in the game. And that's the thing. The skin in the game is where it counts. Because I can easily do a free challenge. You guys do it for 2 days and you say, who cares? What's the point? Because you didn't put anything into it. That's why putting something in the game, putting skin in the game is important. So for the 8 weeks, it's 147. 147 for 8 weeks, it's 2 months. Right? Our normal prices for our normal rates for our program is $300 per month, $300 per month. You're getting it at $150 for 2 months. Pretty fucking simple. Not only that, you also have a chance if you are in to win $1,000. So if you do 150, which is 147, I don't know why I say 147, just something. It's it's a marketing term that we all learned in like 2000, and now we just keep it because Dan Kennedy said so, right? 7s, 9s, and whatever else is. So 147, 8-week challenge, access to us, as well as access to our app, and us watch you the entire time. Any type of questions you have access to that as well. So I hope you guys enjoy your day. This is how I built up. And if you want to build up with us, join the challenge. Come on out to the Krank Comeback, and we'll definitely take care of that for sure. If you're interested. If not, it's cool. We got, not everyone's in it. We got people in it already. We're just waiting till the 4th of July is over, because obviously the 4th of July, holiday is, it's not fair to start a challenge and then now they have a barbecue they got to go to, feel bad about themselves because they can't drink or they don't want to. I don't say they can't. You can do whatever you want, but for the best results and the best access to us and the best chance of winning $1,000 cash, well then that's probably the best way to do is probably avoid the alcohol, avoid the barbecues. So we, instead of us putting you into that position, we took that away and made it much easier. So it starts the week or the Monday after. So if you guys have any interest inside that, make sure you comment the word Krank, K-R-A-N-K, in the comments, and I will reach out to you. If you guys are on IG, just DM me, and it's super simple way to get into this challenge. Why? Because I believe there's a lot of shitty challenges out there. There's a bunch of shit challenges, and I've run them from fucking 2010 until 2020. I put them out, right? I followed the fucking the road of what everyone else did, and it works, right? Monetarily, it works. Business, it works. But you know what didn't work? It didn't work with my ethics. It didn't work with what I believe in. It didn't work with what I know is right. And a lot of us do shit because we have to, right, to survive. But I don't. I don't have to survive. I don't care. What I do care about is you guys changing. And that's why our method now is to change this whole challenge world where they only care about the weight and they care about your before and after pictures so you could use them later on for marketing purposes. And they only care about the number. I care about the person that becomes someone else. Right, the true transformation, but not for 8 weeks. Like, I hate watching before and after pictures and they're so proud of themselves, and then in a fucking year they're completely worse than when they ever started. Why? Because no one ever taught them how to get off the challenge. Right? If you talk to any bodybuilder, any bodybuilding coach that competes, let me make sure my cameras are good still, we're not going to die, okay? There's a phase after the competition. We just don't compete and then just eat like a motherfucker, right? No, we compete and then we got to reverse, right? We have to diet out of it. You can't just go into a comp and then just start eating fucking Sizzler. Is Sizzler even alive anymore? There's no Sizzler, whatever. Where are we? We're in Las Vegas now, so any other buffet you want to choose. Oh, shit. Let's change that. Oh, internal temperature.